Okay, it's the big day. I finally got my epoxy grout. I decided, yes, to go with the epoxy. I don't want to take a chance on some other thing that I've never used before on a countertop that is already very expensive. This stuff was $100. I'll be able to use it in other places as well because I'm being a little bit frugal with the way I'm using it. Normally you're supposed to mix this entire thing up and use the entire batch at the same time. What I did instead was I metered it out with these cups here. I got 16 of these cups from this, and then I measured how much was in here because unfortunately they don't write on here exactly how much is in here. 600 milliliters, so that means I need, say, 75 milliliters for 2 of these cups. And that's the way I'm going to do it, mix it up in small batches like that so that I can stay on top of it. It won't have a chance to dry out before, or set up before I move on to the next area. After I got the tiles set on the top, I cut out and installed these angled ones that go in here. It really wasn't much harder to do than the piece that's underneath here. All I had to do was angle the edge slightly so it kind of bevels in. The next day after the mortar dried on the tiles on the top, I got the sink installed. Basically that's just glued in with construction adhesive. I use screws in a few different places to hold it up to the same height as the countertop here so that everything is flush on the surface. Where I made the cuts on the tiles and then filed the edge smooth, it was a little lighter than the surface of the tiles. So I took a magic marker and I colored the very edge of the tiles. Now I don't know if that's going to stay there permanently, but I guess we can file this under things that may work but can hurt. What I'm going to do is mix them up on this piece of MDF here. I figure that's the easiest way to do it, a flat surface. Let's get this dumped out. So that's what they call part A, and what it is the resin and some sand mixed together. And this over here is part B, and this is the hardener. I already measured this out, so I know pretty much exactly how much I need to put in. Now this is a 1/3 cup, or 80 milliliters. I need 75 milliliters, so I'm just going to pour out until it almost comes to the top. I think that the trick here is to not leave it in a big pile like this when you do get it mixed up, because this is thermally setting. It will actually cure up faster if it's in a bigger mass. So I'll be spreading this out fairly quickly. I've got a bit of a form on the end here, and I've got packing tape inside there to keep this stuff from sticking. Eventually I'll take this right off and I'll have a clean edge, and then the other cabinet goes up against that. So I'm just going to take it and heap it on in various places, aiming for the joints. This is not the same stuff that I used before. That was a different brand. I'm not entirely certain which it was. I still have what's left of it somewhere here, probably out in the shed. But my shed is so full of junk right now, I'd never find it. And it's probably no good anyway. It was, I don't know, 6 or 7 years ago that I used it. It's going fairly well. If anything, it's taking longer than I anticipated for this stuff to set up, which is a good thing. I have it spread all over. I do remember one thing, the last time I did this, was that it took a long time for it to settle down into the grout joints, and I found that I went back after to clean it up, and I had some small voids there that I had to try to fill up. So I'll be watching for that with this stuff too. Back in here where it's very difficult to get in there with the float, I'm going to use the putty knife just to squeeze it in on either side of the faucet. And then I may have to do a little bit of finger work in there as well. Okay, that wasn't too bad to get that much done with 2 cupfuls. Looks like it'll be another maybe 4 cups to finish it off, which would be great. I am thinking that what I should do now is start cleaning this up, get the sponge going here, start getting this off the surface. The thing about the epoxy stuff is that it's not like the cement grout. You have to use a lot more water with this stuff than you do with the cement. With the cement, you'll wash it away, whereas this, you really need a lot of water to clean it up. Luckily, this is not setting up, and another thing I noticed was the last one was a lot stickier than this one is. This one seems to be a lot easier to work with. Now they say in the instructions to use something like that, like a Scotch-Brite pad, initially to level up the joints and all that, but I'm having good luck with the sponge here. It seems to be coming down nicely, and it's taking away the excess no problem. So I'm going to stick with the sponge for now. Okay, it's looking pretty good, and it's coming off really well. The joints all look really smooth. Very impressed with this product. I think it's going to look fantastic. As you can see, I did the nosing too, and that looks splendid. Well, I'm happy with what I've got done so far. I think it's clean enough for now. I'm going to leave it and start on the next section. Mix up a new batch, but I'm not going to videotape that because it's exactly the same thing as here. What I'll do is I'll check back in after I'm done. Okay, I'm on the home stretch here. Last little bit right here. It took 6 cups, like I guessed, and that leaves me with another 10 that I can do something else with. I think that maybe, because I haven't got it done yet, I'll do the shower base with something interesting and use that grout to grout the joints. Thinking about something a little bit different there. Right now I'm trying to get the form off the end of the countertop here without breaking the grout. I don't think I can. I think it's still a bit too soft. It is the next day. I got everything done yesterday. It turned out really nice. I do have to wait a couple days for it to cure more before I can actually use it too much. I mean, I can put stuff on there, but I gotta be careful because the grout is still a little bit soft. I just want to follow up on the marker idea for the edge there that I colored to make it match the surface, and it looks like it's holding up really well. And certainly if it was going to wash out, it would have washed out by now because of the amount of washing that I did while I was grouting it, not to mention the abrasive action of the grout itself. So that's going to do it for this one. I've got more tiles to do. That's the floor tiles, and I'll be starting those in a few minutes actually. And that should be the next video coming up. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.